nice late spring drive up to the mine in the morning, and there's snow everywhere, which is completely inappropriate and unacceptable, but that's what nature has decided is right for us. It's a bunch of snow. So at least it's pretty, but that's about all I can say that's positive about it right now. We're trying to figure out if there was an old mill here or what. You can see there's a huge pile of stacked rock right here built up there, and it's kind of hard to tell in this light, but that's all stacked rock there where that small pine tree is. And then in the creek in front of me, you can see the base for a stamp mill right there, and some more metal there, and a bunch of rail in the creek there. So obviously there's something here. We're just figuring out the best way to keep going down now, because it's vertical going this way and going ahead doesn't look great, so probably cross and try going down that side. But this is some pretty serious bushwhackery. Still at that same site, and you can see the shoe or the foot for stamp mill here. The giant one is my hand next to it. You see what I'm talking about? I mean, I shouldn't say giant, but it's pretty big, especially the idea of some poor mule or miner lugging that in here, because it is extremely steep here. Lots of piled up rock around here. Still looking around to see if there's anything else. Got some metally bits there, and there's a nice stone foundation up there. See that? And then, give you an idea of what we've been coming through. That's the kind of stuff we're making our way down across the way. So, definitely not easy going. I'll go check that out, and if I don't find anything with that, then we'll keep dropping down the creek. Still following this creek down there, as you can see, and we come across something really cool. You see the miners blasted out a flume line here. I'm standing on an old pipe, carries over across this divide here. You can see the old wood section, so the pipe is obviously newer than the wood, and then you can see it picks up again over there where that rushing water is. There's my friend there for scale. I was looking down the creek. So this is really cool. I'm gonna follow this out and see which mine this goes to. I was just standing over there, wanted to give you a better look at this. There's the water coming out of the pipe there, and that's riveted. That's old pipe. It carries on that direction, so we'll follow this out. We're following that flume line down, which is just over there, and looked down and saw this unusual pattern in the rock. Came down closer, and lo and behold, we haven't had it. But guess what? Because we're in the mountains, of course it's wet, and also of course we don't have our waders with us. So this is going to be a barefoot explore, and fortunately curiosity is overwhelming my friend, and he's going to do the barefoot explore, and I'm going to huddle outside like a little bitch and wait and see if there's something good inside. Keep my feet dry, because we still have a lot of hiking to do today, and I don't feel like dealing with wet feet, wet socks, etc.
Woo!
Chilly, huh?
Oh, it's so cold.
That's what we're dealing with. See it?
Oh, I just sank.
Oh, that is, wow.
Oh, I just sank in mud.
Yeah, that's deeper than I expected. God, that's not me. Now, it's easy to see why the miners started digging here. I don't know if you can tell or not, but this is all quartz. There's just solid quartz here. Quartz all the way through. And along there, just quartz. so no surprise. How's it look around that bend?
Keep going. I think it peters out, but I'm going to run it out.
All right.
There are a bunch of millipedes in here, big ones.
Maybe they're mining millipedes.
Better than centipedes.
Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't want to mine millipedes if you had the chance? All right, we'll let him run that out and then turn the camera back on when we have our answers. Well, we've gotten the word. It pinches out just beyond where he is now, so I'm even more glad I didn't go in there. Of course, the downside of that is no matter what, I'm going to have to do the next really bad one. It's definitely my turn next, so hopefully we won't run anything else today that is unpleasant. But if we do, it's my turn. The attic we just checked out is there. The flume line is across from me here, and I just wanted to show you there's some old boards right there. Just noticed that. Obviously connected to what we just explored, or my friend just explored, I should say. I want to show you this rock wall right here because it's pretty well built, pretty impressive. Not quite sure why it's here yet. Seems like a lot to construct just for the flume, but you never know. Got a pipe sticking out of it there, and actually a lot more boards down here, so more pipe. Sometimes this stuff's just a mystery, like you never quite figure out why. Maybe they had an outlet here or something. Still following that flume line down and came across another adit. These cuts look really distinctive from above. I know in the 2 dimensions in the camera you may think, oh, how is he spotting those? But I'll show you when I get up top. They just look really distinctive. Anyway, there is an adit here. It's mostly caved. Well, not caved, but just had material erode down in front of it. And then actually, I don't know if you can tell or not, it is a little bit open back there, but there's only about 6 inches of space for the first, it looks like 10 feet or so, and I can't tell if it opens up more after that or not, but at least for the first, actually no, it looks like it's filled beyond that too. The farthest point where my light is reaching is maybe 20 or 30 feet back, and frankly it looks filled in all the way. So, I mean, no matter what, even if it was just 6 feet or 10 feet of being filled in like this, it wouldn't be able to get in, but if it's 30 feet, it's even more so the case of not getting in. And I don't think it went very far anyway, because you don't see much in the way of a waste rock pile here. It's the original creek down there. Remember I told you about the distinctive look the adits have when you're looking down on them? That's it right there. You've got that weird cut. And I don't know if it's coming across well in the 2 dimensions. It looks a lot more suggestive in person. But hopefully you're getting at least a suggestion or a hint of what I'm seeing. Still following that flume line down. It's down there in the brush. You can't see it from here. And there's a big tram system here serving one of the most productive mines in the area. And you can see the remains of some of that tram cable here in front of me, and there's another smaller strand of cable there. Also, where our buddy is, there's another adit. He spotted it, so he's taking the glory of checking it out first. Prime spot for bears, though.
That's back to my right.
I'm not surprised.
I can see daylight right to your right.
Huh. Maybe a stope or something going to the surface. That's where we slid in from. And you see it goes to the right there and ends. That's just the edge of the portal. The adit runs back this way. You see it's really filled in with dirt. And then continues there where it looks caved. My buddy is just checking that out now, making sure that that is the end. He's just on top of that pile there. So I can hear his voice. So he's probably talking to his camera and it's at the end. We'll just make sure if it does keep going, obviously we'll go in, but I'll wait to hear before making that crawl. Well, this is why you run things out, because it looked completely blocked from back into the portal. It didn't look like there was anything there. And the adit did obviously keep running straight, but that's caved. However, off to the right, there's this section dropping down, and I'm actually standing up right now. I didn't crawl anymore. I can actually stand up in here. And there's this weird little area where all the sand has dropped down and filled in right here. And you can see the stratification in the sand there. So, and it keeps running back that way. And so, obviously there was something right there. You know, maybe that's coming from the surface. It's hard to say. Of course, the other one was running straight and full material as well. But look at all the layers of sand here. And then again, there was something. These are roots in front of me in case you can't tell. There was something dropping down here. Maybe there was a winze here. It's hard to say. It's filled in mostly, but there was something dropping down here. I'm very curious how far down that ran. Well, that fly sounds super loud in here. Hear that on the camera? Man, that's so loud in here. Wow. Anyway, this is an example why you run things out. The adit we just checked out has blown me there. I've come up maybe 30 feet, and look what we found. There's another one right there. And I'd be willing to bet that the blockage we encountered below spilled down from this one. Also, to my left, there's another unnatural cut. And the cables, I don't know if you can see them or not, but the cables for the trans system keep running up that way. So let's get in this one and see where it goes. Here's a look of what's left of the portal. It's enough for us to get into. So I'll drop it into it and pick up inside. That's where I just dropped in from. And I've already faced out. But with that much material in there and such, I'll bet I'm standing on top of something that dropped the one right below us. I don't see any quartz here. There might have been a little outcropping there chasing. Look at the millipede right there. There might have been a little outcropping there chasing, but I think there's more below me that they dropped down. So now we're following the tram line up, or I should say the cables from the tram system to be the most accurate. And check this out. How cool is this? You hardly ever see the infrastructure for the tram systems left, especially an antique one like this. Now, I don't know my tram systems well enough to tell you exactly what this was. I'm thinking though, looking at how beefy this is and the components, I'm thinking this might have been on one of the towers. But if you told me that this was for a large tram bucket, I'd believe you too. I just don't know the tram systems well enough to recognize what's what. But it seems to me that this would have been anchored to the tower, and the cable would have been running through there on a tower. See the cable right there. And also, it seems like it'd be a good spot for a tower. You can see they've got that rocky point right there, which would have seemed like a nice anchor point. And there's also some quartz spilled here, as if, you know, it went over a bump. The bucket went over a bump or something as it went through the tower and might have spilled some quartz here. So could be either one, but I'm leaning towards the tower. And there's another piece right there. And those are my gloves. The cable keeps running up, so we will too. You can't tell, but I just climbed up through that brush mess there. You see the tram cable in front of me. And interestingly, there's more equipment up here, which even more so makes me think this was a tower. See big bolts here which I would have expected to be drilled into the side of a tower. Even looks like a piece of wood there left over from the tower. And here, there's this plate pinned down on the rock by the weight of the cable, and it looks like perfect groove. Can you see that? Perfect groove for the cable to glide through and have that act as a guide. And of course you can see the holes where the bolts would have gone in. So that would be my guess. This point I'm standing on actually looks even better for a tram tower. That spot right there, I dug out a little bit just to see if there might have been a hole there or something for a piece of the tower. You just can't tell. I mean, definitely could have been. And you've probably noticed there's a lot more quartz splashed around here, like it spilled out of a bucket going over a tower. So that'd be my guess. Also, the heaviest cable, which is the one on the left, is most likely to stay true to its course and not get moved, unlike some of the smaller cables. And it's running dead straight along here. So that also makes me think that this was a tower and that we're on the point for that. And it just keeps running up the hill, and we started way up there on this trip. It sucks that we're backtracking because we fought so hard to get down the creek, but you see that stone foundation in front of me there, and then all this cable through here. There. There's a ton of cable twisted up here running up the hill. So, you know, I think it's worth it. I'm glad we're doing it, but it does kind of suck. We've been running up this tram line, saw the cable below me, and I've come to another one of those contraptions, which is in better shape than the last one we saw. And now I'm 90% certain that that is the infrastructure for a tower. The reason I say that is because it's pretty obvious there was a tower here. You can still see fragments of the fragments of the wood that were here, and there are nails, large nails, all over the place, as you can see, which you would need to hold the tower together. And then you've got more of these contraptions. And again, you see a bunch of ore spilled here, which, as the buckets were going through the tower, there would have been a jolt. It's probably the most substantial piece of wood yet. There would have been a jolt that would knock some of the ore out. So that's what we're seeing here with all this ore scattered around. I climbed down to take a closer look at this infrastructure here, and check this out. I can't make out what that says, but this says patent May 1904. That's really cool. And this is really wedged in there, so I can't move it, but hopefully somebody can make out what that is saying there. Anyway, pretty cool. Still has some of the wood attached to it here. It might have the markings, but, or I should say similar markings, but not a rattlesnake. The head, see how the head is narrow? The rattlesnakes have a really broad, triangular shaped head. It's pretty though. All right. Believe it or not, this is actually where we stay for the mine. This is our bunkhouse. You see it's got an open bar. And got a bunch of locals here right now, hanging out with the miners and the drillers. Some of the miners in our crew. Not bad for a bunkhouse. And then, yeah, I showed you guys my room, but I haven't showed you what else is here. It's an old hotel that we've converted to a bunkhouse, but this was the old dining room for the hotel. Upstairs, that's where all the bedrooms are. And got dogs running around. You know it's a good place when you got dogs running around. Old kitchen back here. It's a cool old place, really. It dates back to the 1800s, and then of course it's been remodeled a ton of times since then. Some of the modern stuff, but the skeleton of the building is old. You follow me around? You are one of the littlest dogs I've ever seen. Look, here's my beer next to you. That's how little that little dog is. I think the guy said her name was Daisy. Hey, Daisy. You're going to be a famous YouTube dog now. And then, the caretaker of the bunkhouse. This dog's around here somewhere, too. Oh, there goes Daisy. I think that's her. I'm calling her Daisy. I think that's her name. Yeah, the other one's there. Bunch of miners and drillers. Well, not all of them, but I think I already showed you this. Oh, look at that old safe in the corner. How cool is that?
We talked to them this morning, and they're not in good shape with them shot.
Probably a story there. I said you get hints of how old this place is. And then a bunch of doors going outside. Yeah, we're down in the town itself. You know, the mine's up the mountain. It's dark, I'd show you, but the mine's up the mountain that way. But bunkhouse is downtown. And then it's, all the cool miners here. People want to come hang out.
Yeah.
So, there's the dog. Anyway, all the cool miners here. People want to come hang out. Metal detector there. All right. There's something cool downstairs.
Yeah, what's up? Let's go.
There's something cool downstairs.
It's Bloody Mary, ain't it? Let's go.
So, here's what kept you guys warm. Is a wrapped up, vent going to my furnace.
That's old school, but it worked.
But this is old school. This is how they heated the place back in the day. And if you go up through the building, that chimney is all the way through here. They covered it up. They covered it with modern things. But
Yeah, well, yeah,
this
that's
is old. That there is 1890s, I guarantee you, at least.
the wallpaper.
Yes, and that wainscot. And so they were doing stuff in here. And so this right here's we're underneath the bar. And so where I was standing just a few minutes ago, tending bar, this stairway went there,
Okay, so that bar I showed earlier in the video, we're directly underneath that now. And I don't know if you heard in the video, but this stairway here,
And if you go behind the store here.
this stairway runs up to behind the bar here. Any idea how old the stairway is?
I would say that's probably from the original days, it really is. And,
Yeah.
And this here is also.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
So this is underneath.
This went to the outside,
Yeah.
up underneath the porch.
Okay, so this is.
This is the.
I don't think I've shown the outside yet in the video, but this is. Yeah, we hang out here in front, and then the main road is right over there. That is really cool. I didn't see this last time.
That's the original foundation shit going on there.
Yeah, that's
From
really cool.
1886.
That's really cool. I did not see this last time. Yeah, that is the original foundation right there. Wow. That's very cool, Rob.
Okay, I'm going to show you something even better now.
Let's
That's
see it.
pretty cool, and it's old. Let's go this way. There you go. Oh! And I put that. I do that to scare people right there. I put that there for a reason.
All the drunk miners are down along on the tour. This is really old down here. I thought this was pretty cool. Curious about the story on that one.
Take it down now, Rob. I got saws off.
Stand like this too long.
All right.
So coming under here, I discovered that, there's all this old pipe, and I found this old board. It says 1344 Fillmore Street, San Francisco, and I have a feeling that came off of a crate
Yeah, I wonder
back in the day.
I wonder what the story is on that.
Right? And then look at all that old rusty pipe. That's what carried water here back, 100 years ago.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Everything in here. I mean, this is, like how. Look at how they did this here. They made shelves. So obviously they were using the space.
Yeah.
And now, of course.
Hey, talk about this on camera over here, will you?
it'd
Rob,
be
talk about that on camera, will you?
the
The
opening.
tunnel, yeah.
Okay, so
Back in the 1920s.
Yep.
Let's go see the next stuff.
at some time during the history of this building and the building across the street, they tunneled under what is the street now. And I went over to the store, and actually on the other side is the other opening to this. So it's obvious it was a tunnel underneath, and I think they probably did it because of snow loads back in the day. There
Yeah.
was so much snow.
Yeah, if you look at the historical pictures, there, it's up to the second story of the snow.
Or it's because what do miners do when they have nothing else to do? They tunnel.
Yeah.
So it might be that. I mean, I don't know the history of it, but I would really like to find out why. And look at how short it is.
Yeah, that's
It's not like you're 4 feet tall. Or
no, it is short, but
it goes all the way.
it's a cool story. I mean, you wonder what.
It goes all the way to what used to be. Now is Larry's store, but it used to be an old stone mill building, and so why did they do that? Even
Yeah.
an old building that was used for milling. It wasn't like a supply depot. So did this go in after, and they were able to go up into the store? I have no idea why they did it, but
Yeah.
it's there.
No, that's cool.
It's obvious. You can.
Who doesn't want, honestly, who would not want a tunnel in their basement?
Right.
Tell me what person.
Across the street.
Exactly. What sane person would not want a tunnel in their basement, go into the store across the street? I mean, that.
At 3 o'clock in the morning, you can get a cold beer.
Exactly. I hear a miner. He's pinging off of everything, man.
I know it's
We were looking back there before, and I just came over to take a closer look at this old wallpaper from the 1800s. Really cool. And it's interesting here. You can see the old tongue and groove. I guess that would be the ceiling right there. That's really cool. And the wainscoting down there. Really curious what this basement area was used for. I forgot to mention this on the way in. So we're headed back out. That stairway we came down is over there. But check this out. That is one of the major supports for the building. And it's essentially an unmilled timber.
What about this footing though?
Oh yeah, that's
Is
obviously.
there a key in there though?
Yeah, you wonder.
Oh, that's actually wood.
Oh, that's wood?
That is wood.
Wow. Oh yeah,
That's wood.
that's wood. And they just cut some tree down outside and stuck that log in there. That's wild. You don't see that very much anymore. There's a view of the front of the building. It's a hotel in the summer, really, and then we took it over completely in the winter. It was completely owned by us in the winter. Last summer, We were farther down the road. Had an old schoolhouse. I think I showed you guys that. I don't even remember now. I think I showed you that, but this is where we've been all winter. The old Sierra City Hotel. This time of year, all the PCT people are coming through, and so it fills up with a bunch of PCT people. But that's it. Like I was saying.
Not everybody wants a stereo. Not everybody wants to pay your price. You want to have people in that building. Hey,
What's up? We decided to wrap things up shortly after this. If you'll recall, the purpose of this project was mine exploration first and finding gold second. We actually achieved both. The gold interest stemmed from a geologist's report from the 1950s that identified an untapped zone that was indicated with a high degree of likelihood to hold tens of thousands of ounces of gold. The exploration interest stemmed from a very appealing looking map of the mine's internal workings and the unexplored status of the first level and much of the second level. This mine has a history of a lot of activity dating all the way back to the 1870s. Unfortunately, the core drilling program revealed that those unexplored areas on levels 1 and 2 were comprised of thick bands of clay that had collapsed, bringing a lot of rock down with it and filling in the unexplored zones. We did locate and prove out millions of dollars worth of gold. However, it was not to the extent promised in the 1950s report, and with modern rules and regulations, it is simply not economical to mine this gold. Just to give one example, the water that you see continuously pouring out of the mine is tested almost once per week, and it has never shown the slightest trace of contamination. It is so pure that you could dip a cup into it and drink it right on the spot, and that water is free from microplastics and so much of the other toxic shit that ends up in tap water and bottled water. Despite all of that, we would still have been required to construct a water treatment plant right at the mine to process the water. It just didn't make financial sense, and with our mine exploring hopes dashed at this site, we opted to move on to other adventuring and exploring projects. Wrapping things up. Getting a bunch of the equipment hauled away. Excavator's gone. Still have the loader for now. Just put some seed out for the squirrels. Squirrel seed.